Welcome, everybody. This is the wonderful month of May, and we are on the iBUG Android Insight Call. Today is Wednesday, May 21st, 2025. I want to welcome everybody, for you know where you're at. We're in the best show out there. It's called the iBUG Android Insight, where we talk about everything Android. Whether you have an Alexa device, whether you have a Google Home or any Google devices, and whether or not you have a smartphone, whether it's a Pixel, a Samsung, it's a Android one. We talk about them all, from the tablets to the TVs. So it's an open platform. So anything run on the Android platform is open to talk about here. And my name is Ava. I am one of your Zoom hosts, and I'm from Houston, Texas. And Hershey?
Good evening, everybody. This is Hershey coming in from Central Florida, and welcome everybody to the iBUG Android Insight call for this month of May.
Yes, so let's get a little bit of our housekeeping out of the way. Y'all know Friday night is the iBUG movie night. Starts at 8 o'clock, but you can come in at 7:15 for the pre-show fun. And this Friday night's movie is Strangers on a Train from 1951.
Wow.
So, sounds like an interesting movie.
Definitely.
But y'all know it's Friday night, movie night. Hershey, I know we have
Isn't there something going on the day after,
up.
right? Is it? Yeah.
Yes.
Friday. I'm just trying to count the days. Today's the 21st, right, everybody?
Yeah.
Anyway, if this is your first time, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm, grateful to be here, and I'm not trying to sit on the soapbox or anything, but this community of iBlind users group is actually going to be 14 years old on Saturday, and we have a celebration on Saturday. However, if you go to our website, I'm about to say what the acronym means. iBlind User Group. So iBUG, iBUG, today, TODAY.org. If you go there, you could read up more about the $500 shopping spree. So if you were to buy one ticket, it's $10. If you bought 6 tickets, it'll cost you $50 as a little incentive. If you look on our website again, ibugtoday.org, you'll get more information about it. Basically, to give it to short, if you have something like Zelle, PayPal, you would put in your email, your name, and 500 shopping spree into the notes, and send it to our corresponding email information that's provided there. If you wanted to join our list, you also can within our iBUG Android Insight list, which if you send us a blank email to iBUG, IBUG, Android, ANDROID, Insight, INSIGHT, the +, at groups.io, you will be able to get on the list. So just again, iBUG, Android Insight, the +, subscribe, at groups.io. And what that does is if you have questions in the meanwhile, or if you wanted to see any upcoming events like this that I just mentioned, you'll be able to find that there. And one other thing, if you wanted to find out old videos, or maybe you're an iOS user but you still want to learn about both Android and iOS, do visit YouTube and put in iBUG today in the search engine. You'll be able to find playlists about our Buzz Call, which is on Monday nights typically every week. This is the iBUG Android Insight Call on the third Wednesdays, but that's just a bit of information. Ava, you got a little bit more you got to say?
Well, yeah, let's not forget, if you have not bought your ticket for the $500 giveaway, or if you have bought tickets and you want some more, you have until Friday to purchase them.
iBUG Android Insight, please come on, let's show up. I mean, I already got my 20 in, at least for now. We'll see what I could do more. But yeah, let's show up, guys. Just saying.
All right. So, yes, so Hershey, I think we're ready for an introduction.
I'm so excited. I heard some new names in here and everything else. But yes, please, let's Ava, I'll let you figure out what do we want to learn about today.
Yeah, you know, this is May and Mayflowers. So when you introduce yourself, let us know who you are, where you're calling from, if you're new to the show, how you heard about us, what type of Android devices you have, and for everybody, what is your favorite flower? So let's go ahead and kick it off.
Go ahead.
Oh, hi, Hershey. Hello, everyone. This is Susan and Matt. Hi.
Hello, welcome.
Here.
So,
Hey, Matt.
Matt just reminded me it was time for this meeting. So, my favorite flower is carnations, the green carnations.
All right.
Awesome. Yeah, some memories. Awesome. Thank you.
And we're from Springfield, Virginia.
Awesome. Virginia into town, DMV, or at least one of the parts.
Okay.
Continue on, please. Anybody else?
Hi there, this is Shay. I'm in Seattle. My favorite flower is lilac. They smell so good.
All right.
That smells good. Yeah, thank you. Welcome.
And this is Martin here. I'm calling from Toronto, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And
Maple flowers? No, sorry, there's no such thing.
no, but that would be cool. I too like lilacs. I have one in the front yard, and I love it when they're in bloom.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Martin, for coming along.
This is Janice
Hi,
from
Miss Janice.
Maryland.
Welcome.
Hi. I have a Galaxy Z Fold 4, and my favorite flower is peony.
All right.
Hey. And where were you coming from?
Maryland.
Maryland. Awesome.
Okay.
Well, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Anybody else want to introduce themselves? Where they're coming in from? Hey, Julie. Well, welcome, Julie, and thank you so much, Miss Julie. Hey, if whenever y'all listen to the rewinds, thank Miss Julie. She's doing such an amazing job with all the editing and stuff. And,
my God,
thank you so much for what you do, Julie. Appreciate you.
You're welcome. And I like honeysuckle.
Honeysuckle, hey,
All right.
Gonna have to plant the garden soon. I'm back here somewhere.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's continue.
All right. This is Foster calling from Texas, and my new device is a Lenovo Legion Tab gaming tablet, and my favorite flower would have to be roses. I love the way they smell, and they're actually easy to grow.
Okay.
Welcome.
This is Renee from Cleveland.
Hey, Renee.
Hey,
Welcome.
Hey. I like about any purple flower. My favorites right now are irises.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Welcome.
Randy. from North Carolina.
Hey there, Randy. Welcome.
I like tulips.
Good stuff there. Yeah.
All right. And that's the first time I heard someone say tulips.
Thought they're gonna be popular tonight. But... Anyone else want to introduce themselves? Where they're coming in from, and favorite flower, Mayflower.
Hi, this is Quentin.
Hey, Quentin
from Houston.
H-Town.
I guess a new device is a Pixel 7 Pro.
Okay.
Someone's letting me learn on.
Awesome.
And flower. I love all flowers. They're all a favorite. I can't pick just one.
Right. The other one might get offended.
Or something like that, yeah.
All right, anybody else?
Either.
All right.
Austin. I have several devices, Android devices, and I don't know if I have a favorite flower. So just say all flowers.
Okay.
Welcome, Kevin. And I heard another voice after that, please.
That was me. Sorry about that. So my name is Daisy. I'm from Nebraska. I got a couple Android devices laying around. The one I tend to use a lot is a Samsung. I believe it's an A8 tablet, and my favorite flowers are roses.
Okay. Awesome. Well, welcome to the call, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. Anyone else? Did we capture everybody there?
I think
now I'm muted. Hello there.
Hey there, Steve. I think that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's me. It's Steve Williamson. I'm from South Daytona, Florida. And Hershey was telling me about the group, and I wanted to join and hear what it's all about.
Well, appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So,
Anyone's iPad is going to the meeting.
All right.
Well, we just heard somebody's iPad. I'm just kidding. Anybody else wants to introduce themselves and let us know where you're coming in from? What's your favorite flower?
And please also remember, because we are live recorded, is kind of keep background noises to a minimum. So
right, and the Zoom thing, Alt-A if you're coming in with a computer, and *6. I believe that's
you're on the phone.
Phone. All right. Well, I don't hear that many other folks, but maybe if anybody wants to introduce himself a little later, that's fine. I'm Hershey, coming in again from the Daytona Beach area. And I have, a Pixel phone, Pixel 9 Pro, which is simmed up. I have a Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra that's simmed up. And those are my two ecosystems right now, Samsung and Pixels. I love my Note 9. I think Note 9 might come back in the future, but maybe you guys could give me some insight on that. And my favorite flowers are roses. Cheers.
Okay. Yep. Well.
Not big guy was going to the meeting.
Hang on.
And again, just Alt-A, just to mute, please, while other people might keep coming in and out, and you could still keep hearing the call. Thank you so much.
And for those who have just joined, we're introducing ourselves. And if you're new to the show, to let us know that and how you heard about us, what Android device you use, and also what is your favorite flower. I am Ava Caruth. I'm out of the Houston, Texas, and I'm actually working with my new Samsung S24 FE phone. I'm having fun learning it. So that's my newest device in my house right now. But I have all Alexa devices, from the Dots to the Echo Shows to my Google Home. I am looking into investing into some different Echo devices, Amazon devices. So.
And by the way, don't mind me if I do yell out, "Hey, Miss Amazon lady." That's just our good old friend Ava. So, just
Yeah,
saying.
don't worry, Mr. Google.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
Hey, so you ready for some questions, Miss Ava?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right,
for
I'll let you go ahead and figure out who wants to ask the first one.
Yeah, so does anybody have a question? I know I have one that I have with my phone. And maybe y'all can help me figure it out. I think I've already figured it out, but I want to see if anybody else is having the same issue. So, we have Gemini now, well, which is permanent on my phone.
Wait, who? Who's that? Who?
Gemini.
Gemini who?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gemini? Gemini Cricket? we got Disney. Who's Gemini? Anybody know who Gemini is, by the way? Just saying. Who's Gemini?
My new best friend.
Oh, snap. Look at that. Who's answering there? That's Miss Renee. Miss Renee, could you let us know who's Gemini? Gemini? How do you spell it?
Like a gem, like a diamond gem. GEMNI. I. Google's AI.
Okay, so Google's. Anybody else get to play with it? Like, can iOS people play with it?
Yeah, you can install it on iOS.
Oh, okay. Could you tell us more, please, Miss Renee?
It's an app. It's an app that you can use. They're rolling it out even farther than that. This year is supposed to have it out on the speakers. I guess some people are getting to demo that now or soon. But Gemini, it's just like, there's all these AI models out there, ChatGPT and Microsoft's, whatever they use, I can't remember. But it's, everything from doing some search stuff for you to more conversational like things. I've used Gemini Live to talk about ideas that I have, thoughts that I want to flesh out. I'm thinking about doing a paper on something, and I actually used it with an accessibility issue because I wanted to have a stop sign installed in one of the intersections where people were flying through. And I knew that the Ohio had some laws regarding it. It looked up the law for me, gave me an explanation of the law, clarified some points for me. And I used that information to write a letter to our police department about why I felt there should be a stop sign there.
Oh, this is Hershey. Sorry, just picking up my jaw. Wow. Anybody out in the Ohio area? I'm just saying, these are the tools that we've learned about, but it's how you use them, right? So Ms. Renee just gave an exemplary example of how it affects our community. Is everything going to pay attention to what we do and how we do it? Yeah, we've been doing that from day one, right? Google.com. Anybody remember that website? You should type in the search bar, right? We've been teaching it ever since. And again, I just came back after the weekend. Here I live in Florida, so I went to the Florida Council for the Blind convention. We talked about AI over there too. You mentioned Microsoft and whoever Microsoft got. You named him, her, whoever. It's called ChatGPT. So Microsoft and ChatGPT are kind of mingly in that way with OpenAI, Google with Gemini. A lot of people are saying, well, ChatGPT is the easiest way and easiest way out of it. Yes, on an accessible standpoint, but our input is going to matter, and it makes Gemini better, right? With how you let it give information to us and how you take information from it. Always have a mind of not everything is correct, but it's to make maybe a letter be more compelling to the police department. It's maybe to get that information that might be somewhere else in your account in the Google Drive or something, and really pick up on onto that data. And Google I/O just was yesterday. There were some remnants of things today, but do keep out on seeing what they really have. I mean, Android 16, I believe, is pretty much nice and baked and ready to go and released to everybody on Pixel devices. But I'll send it back to you guys.
So what is Copilot?
Anybody want to explain who is Co and the name Pilot? Is it the first name Co, last name Pilot? Anybody know?
I see that when I open up Microsoft Edge.
Well,
One more
before
time,
we
Kevin.
go there, can we
Sure.
finish up
Hang
with
on.
what Ava's question was?
Ava's question. Yeah, what was your question, Ava?
Okay, yeah. Well, when we had Google Assistant, you were able to go under Google Assistant settings and raise the volume of it up. So my thing is, when I use Gemini versus Google Assistant, he talks low. Talkback talks over him. So raising his volume up. Has anybody noticed whenever he talks, he sounds like he's a little low?
Haven't
This is
noticed
Kevin.
that.
Go ahead, Kevin.
So I think you can just tell them to speak louder, but I do what I always used to do with Google Assistant. I just tell them, say something like, tell me the weather, or tell them to tell me a joke or something like that, and just press the volume key until you get it at the level that you want. That's the rigged way to do it, I guess. But I think you're just supposed to be able to say speak louder, speak louder, speak louder, but I just tell them talk so I can turn it up.
Yeah. Have you tried just asking him to talk louder, Ava?
Oh yeah. He seemed like he want to get quieter on me. Mine, he's a difficult male, okay?
Hey. Anyhow,
yeah.
This is why we don't have names or genders. If you guys are curious, just a quick tip. When we look at Google Voices, they're the voice 1, voice 2, voice IV, whatever. And this is why that kind of happened. But typically, if the Gemini voice is down, as Kevin alluded to it, if you let it talk and then start pressing it, it should go up. If you hold your finger down on a screen with one finger at least, you're going to only increase and decrease the volume of talkback. So do note that if it's talking and Gemini's talking, then let Gemini talk and then you turn up the volume, then it's turning up Gemini. Otherwise, if you go under sounds, under the settings, you could turn up all your notification system volume and so on and so forth to ensure that everything's at 100.
This is Janice.
Go ahead.
I've noticed, so Gemini was pushed through and it replaces the Google Assistant. So I still say, hey, Google, but then Gemini comes up. And it doesn't respond the same as the Google Assistant does. With my Z Fold, it was really hands-free, and it could be, the fold could be closed and it could be sitting on a table, and I could, be across the room and say, hey, Google, tell me whatever. And it would respond, it would blink, it was blink, and then it would respond. But Gemini isn't as responsive. Sometimes it will, but other times I have to open up the phone and then say, hey, Google. It doesn't give me an audible sound to know it's awakened and is listening. I don't know if I have to go into settings all over again because I had all that set up in settings, but it's not as responsive. So it's not as hands-free. When I ask it to do things without opening up the phone, it doesn't always respond. Has anybody else? I don't know if anybody else has a fold.
I sympathize. I have the growing pains too, because hey, gee, read it out loud. Oh, wait, you don't do that anymore. I want to call it.
Real quick, Hershey. That's another thing I noticed when I say read message. It'll only read like the first couple of sentences. It won't read the whole thing.
Right. And I think that's where I'm saying it's like the growing pains where I'm trying to learn the new methodology of how to speak, because we were all acclaimed to how the assistant worked, right? And now it's this person named Gemini, Gemini. Okay, Gemini. Okay, so it's not that hard, but the point being is that what are methodologies on all platforms? Because this will work just as well on an iOS device as we alluded to, and sometimes you may have to download or install this one little part, like a Google Home extension or something, so then it really knows how to work around alongside with your home. So I want to say right now I'm a little lost with it. I'm not 110, but what happened essentially between last time we were here is last month technically it happened, and we got pushed an update which was Android 14 to Android 15 for all Samsung devices. On Pixel devices they were already on Android 15 and beta testing Android 16. However, the assistant still worked on Android 14. So people were happy, everything was fine. It wasn't a big deal because everyone was familiarized for all the years that they used the Google Assistant. Now it went to Android 15 overnight because of the update. Here it is, we have to now use Gemini. So everyone's kind of force-fed Gemini. It is going to come to Google Home soon, so thank you, Ms. Renee, for the explanation earlier. It was extremely helpful to understand where and how it's going. And we just have to work on how we want to work around specific tasks that we used to do and maybe kind of streamline them or figure out, okay, these are just tasks that we want to do, and then work on them to figure out how to do it in an accessible way. So please, share what you want to share on the list, because that could be helpful to say, how did you guys figure out read it out loud? I mean, that would be my question. But, anything like that comes about, please don't hesitate to ask us.
Yeah, this is Renee. I haven't really asked it to read anything, but I'm from other AI models that I know people have put together, like tips on how to do things. Some of them that didn't want to read things continuously. Sometimes they would say things like read from beginning to end, or read, completely, or read all, or something like that. So yeah, you're right. Probably a lot of little tricks on what's the proper way to phrase a command that we'll have to get used to.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, a big learning curve. I mean, you're used to using it every single day, and they're like, wait, what? I don't know what you're talking about. You got to sign in and give permission, so keep it with a grain of salt, but you can't hide from it at this point. Pixel phones already have it. Samsung phones have it. Sony phones I've heard good things about them, where you get 4 years worth of updates and then 6 years worth of security updates. So if you're back into the market, if Sony does come out here with the Xperia Mark 1 or Xperia 1 Mark 7, that's the only other brand that's out there. But we had a question earlier. We're figuring out between software. Who is last name Pilot? Anybody know?
This is Kevin. I wanted
Go ahead, Kevin.
to address your question. You can go into your settings, and you don't have to do this through the Gemini settings, but you will have to go back to the settings that you were referencing, and you can increase your sensitivity if you think that that's the problem, because I'm not having that issue on my Samsung phone. So you might have to go and increase your sensitivity. But you might want to go in and clear the data for Gemini so that it's not confused, so it's not still looking when you do that. And you might even want to retrain your voice model, your voice model, so that it's kind of like troubleshooting, just in case there's any confusion. So you can reset your sensitivity, you can retrain your voice model. And then another thing, you can go into the settings, and I have to always look and find it, but you have to make sure that it's giving you long answers, where it has the short answers and long answers. You make sure that it's giving you the long answers, and sometimes I turn it off and turn it back on to kind of reset it, so that way it will read the whole message.
So you think when Gemini was pushed through, it maybe went to some defaults that were different?
Yeah, it might just be. be the voice model or whatever might just still be kind of looking for the assistant, because the assistant is still there. Because if you're having trouble, you can go into the Gemini settings and you can install the Gemini app and you can switch back to the Google Assistant.
Oh, really?
But I wouldn't. But you can switch back to the assistant. But it's pretty much on parity now, for the most part. But mine is reading my messages. When I'm sending messages, it's reading. I don't have to say read to me or before it sends it. So I'm not having any of those troubles, but it might be because I'm on a Pixel for the most time. But I do have Gemini on my Samsung device as well. So
okay, I'll check those settings. Thank you.
You might have to increase the sensitivity for a while to make it more responsive.
Okay, I'll try that. Thank you.
For the Copilot, that's Microsoft's version. It's embedded inside their Microsoft Office 365. It's embedded with Word and Excel and all of those programs. It's an AI assistive technology.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. And just to add on top of that, I mean, it's the the version from Microsoft of a tool within what is integrating ChatGPT and other AI tools within each tool. Again, coming from the conference and there's things that I learned or lessons learned kind of thing, it is a little bit more difficult to be interactive with Copilot, depending on. At least I could say this much, that some people have found success for, let's say, putting their phone through the phone app within Microsoft and then working through that. So if you're working along spreadsheets and this and that and the other, you could at least utilize some of the tools that Copilot might be able to offer you. Yeah. But on the accessibility side of things, it depends. Go ahead.
Just a word of caution when you're using any one of these AI assistive technologies these days. They go to large data models. And if you're uploading any kind of information, especially if you're using the free version of it, they do have pay versions of them. But the free version, if you upload any information, it goes into the large data model to be modeled, and it's open to anybody out there. So just be careful. Don't use any personal information, things like that with them.
Thank you very much for that. Yes. Always keep a word of caution in any of this that we do, I suppose, is best as I could say for that. But more questions, more thoughts, questions. It's your stage. Please feel free to state your name and ask another question.
Hi, this is Susan. I want to go back to basics because I'm a little confused. Okay. I have a phone here, the S24. And so I know Ava mentioned the word Gemini, but also I was wondering if we could define some of these terms like, okay, Gemini, TalkBack, Bixby. I guess my question is, Bixby and TalkBack, they're the same. Are they different than Gemini or Pi, another word I've heard before?
And no one brought me a slice. Thank you, Susan. I appreciate that. Yes, the words do get confusing. Pi, just to quickly iterate on that, is Android 10. But our illustrious panel of people and everyone that's on this call, I think could probably help you. So who is Bixby? Who is Gemini? What is TalkBack? Kind of that kind of thing. Anybody want to help my Susan here with who's what, when, where, and how of those people?
This is Kevin.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
Hi. Bixby, Alexa, Google Assistant, Siri, assistants.
Okay.
Gemini, that's assistants.
Okay.
TalkBack, JAWS, VoiceOver, NVDA, narrator, screen readers.
Oh, okay. So let me just, okay. So if I'm understanding, TalkBack is a screen reader. Bixby is an assistant, just like Gemini and like Pi, right, Kevin?
Pi is an operating system. They used to give
Oh, okay.
they still do, but it's not publicized as much. But they give the the Android versions dessert names.
Oh, okay.
So, for example, Android 16 is vanilla ice cream, I think, or was it?
Oh, okay.
So they're different namesakes, but for your sakes of what you're using right now, since you mentioned Gemini, more than likely you had an update, and with that update, now you're probably using Android 15. So if you want to think of what operating system am I using, Android 15. If you want to think about what is the screen reader that I use on my Android phone, mainly the only one that would make sense in that question would be TalkBack, because you wouldn't say I have JAWS for my Android phone. You wouldn't say I use VoiceOver for my Android phone. VoiceOver is for iPhone. JAWS is for what you find on your Windows computer. And VoiceOver is also for Apple devices other than just their phones. So the Apple TV uses VoiceOver. And so again, they're all screen readers, to say the least. But any more clarifications to be had, Ms. Susan?
And this is generic. I think I know the answer. So, Gemini, can we put? Is there like, can we put that on our desktop, like an app, like we have for like Bixby or something? Can we? Is there an app or something where we can just like, if we have a question, we just like push the Bixby, push the button, and then, or do we just have to use our right hand on our phone and go, hey, Gemini? I guess there's two ways to use it.
Go ahead.
Hi, Kevin.
The answer to that is yes, if you have a Chromebook. Otherwise, you can, you have to go to gemini.google.com, or you can put an icon on your desktop, but you're going to have to, physically go down, like navigate to the microphone button or type in your query. It is going to be integrated into Chrome starting today. So if you open up Chrome and you use that voice input button that's there by the search thing, then that's going to be it's going to be powered by Gemini now.
Oh, okay.
So again, to have two different platforms, but how can I take my Android phone and a Windows machine, right? So let's just say you were working with Gemini on a computer, typing it out with a keyboard, and then you were off on the road and you wanted to use that same information. You still have Gemini, and you already logged in with your credentials for that Google account, which the Gemini account is hooked up to. So for your Samsung phone, the account that you're sharing or using is something at gmail.com. So therefore, Gemini can be utilized on the Windows machine and on the Android phone. Make sense?
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Any more questions, thoughts, concerns? Whoever wants to, just please state your name and let us know what you're thinking.
So I have a question on the comment that was made that Gemini is now going to be what's used for the microphone on the Chrome browser. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's going to be powered by, starting today, it's going to be powered by.
Is it going to function like
Gemini?
So I can ask it questions like I would Gemini, or is this just? Oh, okay. Okay, it's good to know. Thank you.
You're welcome, Mr. Renee. And just to kind of reiterate what they're kind of saying, Gemini is now baked into most things. So Google Drive, Docs, the Office stuff, the products that they make there, your Gmail, and so to retrieve and do work and ask and information of what you want quickly is going to become easier. You just have to give that permission, obviously, but you also are more in control of what you want it to do, and it's going to stay on device, for example, for your phones. So I know some concern might come about privacy, but any more questions, thoughts, please feel free. It could be this topic or something else.
Well, this is all backed up in the cloud. basically.
And who's that cloud over there? Sorry, who was that? Foster.
Foster. Yeah, so all this is backed up in the cloud. Because like you said, once you log into your Google account and give it permission on your Chromebook, on your PC, on your Android phone or tablet, basically it's in the cloud, so you'll be able to access it from anywhere.
Great point. So if we had an email address called Android iBug Insight call, or let's just call it iBug Android Insight at Gmail. Just give an example. All the contacts of all the people participants that are in this call right now, if I share that, or if I keep it there and took everybody's contact and all that, I don't have to worry about if I get a new device. I just have to re-log into that said email at gmail.com or what have you, and the contacts fly in with us. Yes, you could save on your device, but you don't need to do that. Back in the older times of doing this, we used to save it on our SIM cards and such that. But now a simple sign in to a Google account, if you're obviously with Android, that's typically how everything is done. You could do that, and you could make choice as well with Samsung phones. You could have both Samsung and Google accounts log into said thing. So it's definitely a viable choice of if you're trying to move to a new device, or perhaps you're trying to use eSIMs in certain cases where you don't have to have a SIM card. You just have to give them a phone digit thing called an IMEI number, and that would be information that could be found just by having TalkBack available to you. So you are able to do a lot of this stuff accessibly without having any additional help. But again, stage is yours. Questions, thoughts, please ask.
This is Randy.
Okay.
Who goes first?
You do.
So I have a question. I'm an iPhone user for forever, ever since VoiceOver was available. I use it because I can't see anything, and that's what I use to get around. But I'm always interested in other technologies, and just every now and then I'll check in on the Android world to see how TalkBack is doing. And I'm just wondering, anyone that has a lot of experience with it, would you say TalkBack has arrived?
Thank you so much for that question. And Android Insight team crew has TalkBack. Hey, Cliff, go ahead, Cliff.
Hey, what's going down?
All right. Is it Cliff from Texas, I think?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, welcome. Still remember you from a call, so I apologize if I put you out like that. But
no big deal. No big deal.
Go ahead, Cliff.
Kevin's here, and I work with him, so whatever. Anyways, I just wanted to answer that question because I recently started using a Pixel back in February, and I actually use it 50% of the time. And like that person stated, I was an avid iPhone user 24/7, and there's things that my Pixel 9 Pro does that my iPhone doesn't, and vice versa. So it's all about personal choice, but I use my Android specifically on the weekends. I turn my iPhone off when I leave work, and then I turn it back on to do certain things because we have students that use both where I work at. So I took it upon myself to learn both, and it's about a tie. I mean, I can say that there's things on the Pixel that I didn't expect it would be able to do, but they do, and I like it. But there's also things that my iPhone does that my Pixel does not. But it's all about personal preference. So you're gonna have to go with what you know. But what I will say is that consensus about TalkBack is not accessible and it doesn't do what iOS can do. Well, it's not iOS, number one, but number two, it's way beyond what it was 5-6 years ago when people were giving it a bad name. And if I started using a smartphone as a screen reader yesterday, Pixel would be my choice. I'm not knocking iPhone, but if it was the accessibility is where it's at now versus the iPhone, and I had to pick one, the Pixel and Google's product is where I would be at right now. So just to get that person some mindset. And again, I am an Apple user across the board, Mac, iPhone, Apple Watch, Apple TV, but my phone, the Pixel, I enjoy using it 100% on the weekend. So
that I'm shocked right now, there, Cliff. So at the end, you mentioned. So what is it? How does it rub you the right way, or like what is? Why is it that you want to continue your journey, and then have the other phone for work phone kind of thing? Like, what's that one
because
thing?
I like to have. Well, number one, I need more tools in my toolbox because I'm a technology trainer. So it's required that I know certain things, and but and the other thing is because the Android Pixel specifically gives you more flexibility with gestures and how you can arrange your apps, how to look for them, how to search for them. You don't have to put them in folders. You can just have five home pages like some people do, or you can just have them all in folders like some people do, or you can just say, I'm just going to go to the app drawer and get them. Other platforms don't give you that flexibility on certain things to do to arrange your apps, home screens, widgets, wallpapers, things of that nature. The only thing that really irks my nerves about Android, and it's just a personal preference, is the fact that I have to jump through hoops to do, different ringtones and sounds for notifications and things of that nature. But again, different platform, different procedure, different format. So you just have to pick your poison, see what works for you, and go with it.
Fascinating. Thank you so much, Cliff. And again, what I'm hearing is you found that the ease of use was what the entry of use and ease of use was not that bad at all for
Yes.
you to just
I
like
mean,
grab
I
it and
picked up
go.
my Pixel. It took me probably one weekend to get used to the different, customizations, the different gestures, the where to find things, how to search for things, different voices, things of that nature. So, I mean, it's not hard, but it also might have to do with the fact that I'm a technology trainer. I've been self-taught for almost 15 years on different
Congrats.
technology, and I'm one of those people who technology is not going to beat me. So I'm going
Right.
to figure it out. So if I don't know, I'm going to find a way, or I'll ask somebody who does.
Right, Cliff. You had mentioned a word that just stuck out at me, and is the voices. For people that are iOS users and whatnot, and then people that come over to Android and what have you, how do you find the sensitivity of the voice or understandability and usability with swiping and what have you? So what's your you know what's the word on there with the voices and it's not using Ava voice or using Alex and such that from like the nuanced voices that you find on iOS. But
Well, I'm
in
I hate Alex.
comparison, like, do you
I hate
understand
Alex
these
on
voices?
iOS personally, but I think Alex should just be designed for the computer. But
Right.
the voices, there could be more choices, but I mean, again, that's not a Google. I mean, maybe Google could. Well, they could. They're $1 billion company. Maybe they could give us in speech engines for free. But the voices that they do give us, the vocalizer voices, they're not bad. I mean, you probably get better ones on the PC and maybe even iOS, depending on your preference. But to me, they're easy to understand. You have choices. You can change the pitch, the speed. A lot of people like eloquence. I don't, but a lot of people like eloquence on their phone because of raising the speech rate and still being able to understand what it says. But again, it's what we always say, personal preference. That's why we have choices. You got iOS, you got Android, you got PC, you got Mac. I mean, you got, Android Watch, you got Mac or Apple Watches. So, it's all about what you like and what fits your need. So if, not having two phones like I do doesn't fit your need and you just want to specifically go with iOS, then more power to you. But just know that iOS doesn't have certain things that Android does and vice versa. So it's all about personal preference and what works for you.
This is Randy again.
Go ahead, Randy.
This might be a question for Cliff. So I've been kind of thinking about the Pixel phones because I hear, of course, they're from Google and they get the updates before the other ones do. But the question is, they have their flagship models and they have like their A models, like 8A, 9A. And I'm just wondering, and they're kind of a more affordable model. Are those models up to speed with their talkback and such as well?
I know the answer, but I'm gonna,
Cliff. Yeah,
I'm
I'll
gonna,
let you handle that, Cliff. He was asking you,
I,
matter of fact.
well, I'm gonna throw it over to Kevin because he's the one who convinced me to go the other direction and give it a chance, and he knows more about the internal software and hardware than I do. So I'm gonna let Kevin answer that one.
I love this. I love this show today because this is exactly how this show runs. So go ahead, Kevin. You want to give a little bit insight on what is
the Pixel A models, they run the same software. So the latest Pixel 9 Pro or whatever that I have, all of them run the Tensor 4 chip, which is their custom chip, and so they don't downgrade. I think there was some discussion about them maybe using a different modem, but it still picks up 5G. But all the other stuff is the same. You still get 8 gigs of RAM. The only thing that they compromise on or they change is the body, the build. So whereas the Pixel phones may be made of metal and they may have one extra camera, but they make sure that the quality that you get from a Pixel 9A is going to be the same thing that at least you would get from the entry-level Pixel 9. It might not be what you get with the Pixel XL because that might have one extra photo lens or something like that. But all the software, all the 7 year of software updates, the TalkBack gets pushed out at the same time. It's eligible for the beta if you want to run the beta. All that's the same.
Thank you for that, Kevin. And just to reiterate, to give more information to that, rather, the RAM is the biggest thing between the Pros and not. So the Pro, you got the Pixel 9 and the 9 Pro. They're both 9.3-inch screens, or excuse me, 6.3-inch screens, whereas the Pixel 9 Pro is at 6.8-inch screen roughly. And then you have your Pixel Fold. So those are all your, you could call them the flagships. Then you have your 9A, you have your 8A. You do have the 7 years worth of operating system with security as well. And then TalkBack is on a different cycle, so you don't have to wait on a new feature of TalkBack coming out. TalkBack will come out on its own cycle with the accessibility suite update that already happens in the back end. If you have an old OS, it's okay to have an old OS because your TalkBack version will be the latest of today's standards, however long that is. But do note that there are some old legacy phones that have been retired. So like the Pixel 4a is retired at this point. So there is that of older devices, but they run on different cycles. So with Pixel phones, it's about 9a, I think is roughly $399 as of today. You might have some deals with Memorial Day and what have you. So I've seen sometimes it could go as cheap as $350. And then your other phones, again, $200 here, $200 there. Most expensive is going to be your Pixel Fold, not Pixel 9 Fold. Then you have your Pixel 9 Pro XL, which is a larger screen, 12 gigs of RAM versus 8 gigs of RAM on other models. And then you have Pixel 9 Pro and a Pixel 9 regular. Kevin and Em are right. It's better glass materials, etc., whereas the Pixel 9A or A models are more plasticky feeling. So those are your basics on anything related to Pixel. And if you're a screen reader user, hands down, that's the first recommendation. If you still are a magnification user or have low vision, Samsung, you could get away with stuff with their magnification because I think they have just a little bit better looking screen. Slightly better hardware, but battery life on both and all are excellent. I had the Pixel Fold not just turned on, charged up to 100% on Friday, and it was still at 25% on Wednesday. So that, I mean, it's only hooked up to Wi-Fi, but just without any SIM, it lasted at least all those days just idling. And so battery life is great. And if you have more questions, please feel free.
Thank you all for that useful information. You got me interested.
Absolutely. And I thought I heard another voice after that. Was it Miss Daisy or somebody? Or so there were a couple people that were trying to ask a question at the same time. Please feel free to just state your name. Go ahead, Miss Linda.
Yes, and please know, y'all, we do not have to raise hands. We just ask that if you wait till Lola in the conversation and say your name, and we will wait till one of us recognizes you, myself or Hershey.
I was actually just looking for chat because I wanted to say how much I appreciated Cliff's input. And I wanted to tell him on chat, but I can't find chat. So that's all I had to say.
Thank you for that. And like I said, thank you. Because, again, it's all about our people. And Cliff, I saw him in here 3-4 months ago. And here he is, trying out the actual device. So, again, whenever other people have their input, I think it's much more valuable. We know our Android stuff, but thank you so much, Cliff, for sharing your story and, your firsthand experience and how it's been going for you. And thank you, Miss Linda, for that comment. And yeah, more questions, thoughts, please feel free just to state your name and ask more questions.
Yeah, this is Foster.
Go ahead, Miss Foster. OnePlus, Mr. Man.
So
still OnePlus in it?
So
You're still OnePlusing it over there?
Lenovo Legion Tab.
Oh, okay. Sorry. My interruptions, my bad.
Oh, no, it's a gaming tablet. So it has 2 USB-C ports. So you can charge it and still you can do Miracast on Galaxy phones and tablets. So
can you hook up a Braille display to that?
I think so because remember it's like stock Android. So Lenovo doesn't.
Which version of Android are you running on that specific device?
16.
Okay. Wow. What? Yeah, all right. 16. So everything's slated.
Yeah.
One quick thing I want to share with you, Mr. Foster. So, I went to this convention thing, but Selvis, S-E-L-V-A-S, Selvis. They used to be called HIMS, and they're actually based out of, I think, Austin area, or they have an office out that way. Well, the reason why I brought that up because some of these devices that we talk about, they are Android based. So continue on, sir. I kind of found it fascinating when you're saying I got a tablet or kind of thing, but you're still running Android. And when I talked to this person, he reminded me because he's like, we're updating to anything current. So Android 12 to Android 15, because sometimes with these Braille displays, they don't want to update. So continue on, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but anyway, for those that don't know, I'm low vision, so I'm kind of high partial. So I don't use TalkBack a whole lot, but I do use the other accessible.
Select to speak.
Things. Yeah, select to speak. What's the other one? Read.
Read out loud or reader tool? Reader mode?
Read aloud. Yeah, read aloud.
Reading mode.
Yeah, well, there's a reading mode. Yeah, that's right, reading mode. Right, reading mode. And then I use of course, the magnifier. And so the one thing that I have noticed is, because Pixel phones, you guys know who makes the screens for the Pixel, right?
Come again with that?
Actually set the screens
are made by Samsung, you're saying?
Right.
Okay, copy.
So I noticed because I have a 7 Pro. I think that's what Cliff said he just got was a Pixel 7. What I do notice is that when it comes to the magnification and when I pinch to zoom in and out, whatnot, it is pretty fluid. I don't know if that has to do with the updates to the OS, but it is more fluid and it doesn't. I know years ago it used to be kind of quirky. It wouldn't keep up with you, but it's more fluid with using that.
I got the 9 Pro actually, but yeah, the screen is very responsive, and people have been complaining about it being unresponsive in certain areas. But I mean, like you, I'm running 16, and I don't get that. And even before I was running 16, I didn't get that. So there might be a time where I'm typing in my PIN instead of using my Face ID that it won't register, but you just tap it again and you're fine. So it's not as bad as some make it out to be. People make a mountain out of a molehill sometimes. So
yeah.
Thank you, Cliff.
But anyway, I have those little shortcuts on my phone and on my tablet. So these little shortcuts come in handy because you can leave them up on the screen, and then they work with TalkBack too. And I like to use those because they're really convenient. They used to kind of get in my way.
Quick thing, Foster. Did magnification get AI built in anyhow? Like, is there any AI-ness within your magnification app?
No, but I'll tell you what I've been using a lot that I notice it seems AI is built in on is Google Lens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yes. My wife's been doing a lot of thrifting, and so we'll do a Google Lens to see what type of purse it is, for example, and it not only will show you the purse on sale, but it'll give you a little history on the manufacturer and all that stuff. So
definitely a powerful tool. Yeah, I appreciate that. Because give example, years ago, I remember like Apple within theirs, they threw a little AI in it, and then Pixel did something similar, where if you pointed at a door and stuff, it actually lets you know, distance or easy way to kind of utilize that app within magnification itself for low vision at least. So every manufacturer has their own little plus point. But continue on, sir.
Yeah. So just my thing is though, I like to use those shortcuts that you can save to your.
And these shortcuts,
screen.
This is what Gemini shortcuts, Assistant who's these shortcuts?
Accessibility shortcuts.
Copy. So
yeah, like
built into your settings, you're talking about.
Right. You have to go through your settings and then select them as part of your accessibility shortcut, and they appear on your. They're always on top of the screen, so you can always access them from the top of the screen. And even if you're using TalkBack, as you navigate, it'll let you know when you're on those shortcuts, and you can choose those shortcuts for whatever you need to do.
And if I can say, this is Linda.
Go ahead, Ms.
So
Linda.
If you use several of those shortcuts, like I've got 4 of them showing, you can drag that whole batch around because it covers up whatever is on the screen behind it. I was kind of annoyed by it until I realized I can use your finger and drag the shortcuts around to get out of the way of the thing you want to access. I was surprised also at how many magnification programs there are for Android. It isn't just one. And there's private, there's HW Explorer that HumanWare puts out. And I'm amazed at how many different accessibility apps are available on Android. I just counted them up. If you count voice input, voice output, and magnification, there's at least a dozen different things you can do. So I was very surprised at that.
Hey, Ms. Linda, are you on the list on our iBUG Android Insight list by any chance?
I don't think so.
If you wouldn't mind, that would be fascinating to learn some of what's new. If you wanted to join, you would send a blank email to iBUG Android Insight, the +, subscribe @groups.io. But the reason why I'm saying is, I know like HumanWare and some of these other companies do have set apps, but no one ever talks about them. The only app that comes to mind within the magnification side would be WeZoom, so WEZ or ZOOM. And that one I've heard just good remarks in the sense that it's the most clear. It doesn't give you the halo effect as most tend to do. But yeah, I would really be intrigued to have that on a list or on our email list. That way, we try to cover all facets of blindness or spectrums, and sometimes for some, just a quick magnification, works just well as for others using an OCR device or using Google Lookout Assisted Vision, which again, really powerful tool. You could take a picture, get whatever phone number. But thank you for all of y'all for information there.
If I could say, I want you'll probably laugh at what I'm trying to do. I am a sighted volunteer trying to write a tutorial for Android phones.
We'd love to see it.
I would love to see it myself. The complexity of the interaction between these three categories and all the subcategories, for instance, of in the voice output, what output you get that comes from within your phone versus what output comes to you from outside of your phone, like looking at the setting on your oven, for instance. You can do that through Be My Eyes. But in any case, I have been absolutely determined to somehow come out with some kind of progressive tutorial that would work from where Cliff is in the high partial character. I work with senior people losing their vision. So what tends to happen is you help them with one kind of batches of apps, and a month later they've lost more vision, and now you're down to a whole different set of things, and it's so mobile. But at least it seems to me that there should be some sort of a progressive tutorial, and if anyone knows of one that would save me all this work, I would really love to hear about it.
Anybody have some insight?
Well, Hadley School for the Blind, they have, you can call them and get an Android instruction book or either audio.
That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. But not to say that you could enhance it,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what you're saying is exactly right, that they, in order to be who they are, may or probably offer fewer, in other words, a step-by-step that only includes one kind of magnifier or one. I'll have to look at it and see. Do they include the variety that's available?
And this is Hershey, Miss Linda. The thing about this situation is that technology is so ever-changing, especially with companies. To give you just a quick historical thing is, we had the most accessible apps, but we were told to cease and desist on those apps because Verizon bought that company out. And a lot of the OCR apps went down the drain, and then now we have new ones out. Don't get me wrong, we still have them, but Ideal Group was one of the first that had like 3-4 apps that were just phenomenal. And where we are today, and even with resources to find out where to learn it, with blind accessible or blind Android users, John and others that are Warren and others. Warren has been on our call years ago. And, they try to at least write down what's new. And in this call, honestly, putting your email on that list or just getting in contact with us. Okay, how do you use it? How do you use it? I wrote a tutorial out for Voice Assistant, which was the old screen reader that Samsung used to name them. But Voice Assistant is not a screen reader name no more in the market. They went to TalkBack, so that's out the window. But the other thing with TalkBack is it's ever-changing. So you're never going to win this game. I'm sorry, just to give you that bad news there. But at least we could guide people towards what is usable. You mentioned movable buttons. Well, I like gestures. So the same thing that you're talking about, I use color inversion. And I use it as a gesture, so I swipe left and down with TalkBack on, and that means my screen will flick to the reverse colors on the fly, and that's the same shortcuts that we've alluded with Foster talking about it, yourself talking about it, but that does not mean that, okay, I'm a magnifier user, I don't use shortcuts, or I'm a TalkBack user and I don't, vice versa. We have all these tools available to us, but it's the conversations that we had, like HW, what was it, magnifier from Humanware?
Explore.
That's something for us to go play with. For some of us that may have some vision, I typically find it surprising these companies have amazing products. They're all Android-based, but they're never Android-based apps that they share with the Play Store. It's always you buy a $3,000 piece of equipment, then you get the app. And we'll see. We'll see where the world goes. AI, again, Gemini is doing a lot of interesting things. If anybody wants to, please write in support tickets to figure out how to get Gemini to become better for you by writing into disability support. So g.co/ disability support. That's Google's website. You could connect to them with Be My Eyes, a phone call, or an email. And we could only get better with this conversation. And again, no question is silly. If some of us that are totally blind and we can't answer a cited question, then maybe it's time for us to go find a resource. So thank you all for all the questions, and more questions are the stage is still yours. So please go ahead.
Yeah, this is Foster again.
Go ahead, Foster.
Hey, do you still have that list of apps we covered when you came to my blind support group last year?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so we need to maybe tweak that and put it up on
we can do that.
Android Insight thing. Because Ava snuck up on my blind support group last year. They didn't say who the speaker was. Well, I didn't find out who the speaker was till I got there. And so we ran with it, of course.
That's awesome.
But we covered a lot of low vision apps too. So, because my specialist, she's a low vision specialist, so we covered a lot of low vision apps. So Linda will get that up and can see some of the various magnification apps, and they're always coming out with new ones. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Big Font. Big Font is a app that you can load onto your Android device, and you can make your font really, really small, or you can make it so big that there's like one letter on the screen. Like I forgot. It's crazy.
Awesome.
Can you spell the name of that?
Big Font, BIG.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Words. BIGFONT.
Thank you.
And they have a lot of but within the Big Font app, it also has a magnifying glass in it that uses your camera, and then it also has a flashlight built into it too. So it does multiple things. So some of these apps do multiple things, and they'll use your camera to get doing that. Well, of course, with magnification, it's going to use your camera, but a lot of them use it as a flashlight too. And some of them have gestures, like for example, hey, that's an interesting question, Hershey. What for the Pixel users? What do you guys use your back tap? What shortcut do you guys use for your back tap? Like for me, I use it to take screenshots.
Okay, so the question was with the back tap feature that is found on the Pixel phones. What is? I don't remember what I used once upon a time. Maybe it was color inversion. I've turned off the feature since, but it is a shortcut. So if you tap your finger on the back of the phone, I think it's 2 times or 3 times you get to decide. You could launch a gesture or a thing. So I think I even had Lookout in there selected once upon a time. So I would open up Lookout text mode, Google Lookout Assisted Vision. So that way I could quickly read some text with the OCR. I think that's what I did once upon a time. But anybody else have any thoughts or want to share theirs with double tap or back tap?
What about you, Cliff?
Don't use it.
This Renee.
Go ahead, Miss Renee.
I didn't even know. I think I remembered it, but I forgot all about it. So I just tried it. And I think it turned on Gemini. Just the question, the search.
Yeah, I don't use it. I'm one of those things. I'm one of those people who think they can do things faster than a shortcut or a Siri or well, now don't get me wrong. I actually use Gemini more than I use Siri, but me and Gemini, we have conversations. We don't just have what's the weather or how do I get to Long Beach, Florida in a car. Me and Gemini, we have a relationship, and me and her have this issue because she always wants to give me a 35-minute answer when I just want a quick one. So I just tell her, you need to shut up sometimes because I just want the quick answer. But yeah, I have fun with Gemini. So, but no, I don't use the back tap at all. I know it was there, but I just haven't gotten around to setting it up for anything, or maybe it's just something I haven't needed. Maybe I'll use the launch look back or look out or something like that. But right now, I just don't use it right now.
That's a good idea.
So did you use it? So let me ask you this, being an Apple user, did you use it on your iPhone?
Absolutely not. No, I did not use that on there at all. I did not. Again, I'm one of those people who think I can do things faster than these built-in shortcuts or these, digital assistants and stuff. But no, I never used it on there. The only thing that I used for a custom shortcut on iOS was a copy and paste gesture, which was 4 fingers down was the copy and 4 fingers up was the paste. And that's the only custom shortcut that I used on iOS.
This is Kevin. I do not use the back tap anymore, but I used to use it to pull up my transit pass, the paratransit pass quickly.
Oh.
But I don't, since there's so many gestures for everything now, like I don't have because I never really need to turn on the flashlight. Like if I need to turn on the flashlight or something like that people use it for, like, Be My Eyes, or not Be My Eyes, but Ira will turn it on, or Lookout will turn it on automatically. Seeing AI will turn it on automatically. So I can't think of anything that I could use it for that there's not a gesture that I can assign for.
Yeah, I use some I don't use TalkBack a lot, so I don't do a whole lot of gestures. So usually, like for example, just for safety purposes, when I find out who my Metro Lift driver is, I'll go ahead and do a snapshot of that. So if something happens, I'll be able to pull up the driver's information and vehicle information. Yeah, but yeah, just curious about that.
I'm sorry. No, what again does the back tap do? What does it do?
It's like a physical shortcut, I would say, and you can program it. There's different options you can have. You can program it to like for me, like I said, you can do a screenshot. You could open up. You could turn your flashlight on and off. You could use it like if there's an app that you use frequently, like Kevin had mentioned about pulling up his pass. You could you could set it to open up if there's a certain app, like if you do something frequently, you could use it to do that frequently, and you don't even have for certain things you don't even have to unlock the phone. So,
right.
And it's a gesture.
It is.
Yes.
Well, think about what it feels like. You have your phone in your hand, right? Now you with one finger, what are you doing? You're tapping, right? So that it's a motion that you're doing with the phone. You could set it up as anything you would like it to with shortcuts, right? So Miss Linda earlier was talking about a button that can move around the screen. You could have the accessibility shortcut. That's what the menu is called. Then the secondary way of using it is you could have accessibility shortcut while using gestures. So then you don't have to have that moving button or something annoying you because it's on top of another icon or another app on top of it. So everyone would have their own preferential way of controlling that shortcut. For some sighted people, the moving around of a Android shortcut thing with, let's say, 5 settings is usable. For others that are using TalkBack, they don't see the screen and they hate for it to take up space because you're swiping and it's saying something you don't want to hear. So you may use gesture type instead. Like I use it for.
Prime example, Hershey, is people on iOS seem to struggle with no home button.
That's it.
I don't know why. I've been doing it for over 8 years, and I got it in 30 seconds. But hey, everybody's not as smart as me, I guess. But anyways, they would use that gesture as the go home or the app switcher gesture. So then they're just to throw it on the other side. But that's what a lot of people on iOS use it for, is the go home or the app switcher, because they can't simulate that swipe up gesture to do those things.
Which you just reminded me, I used to use it for recents when I first saw it. when at the back tap for Pixel, because I mean, let me check okay, recents. Okay, now I see I got to close these apps that are open, right? But that's just for testing trial purposes. I stuck it as recents. But again, go play with it under settings. You don't have to utilize it. It's there. It's not forced on you. Go ahead, Cliff.
Yeah, it's called so in your settings, if you search for use quick tap.
Quick tap.
And so
that's the name. Back tap, I think, is iOS's name.
Right. So you have your options are take screenshot, access your digital assistant, play or pause media,
right?
See recent apps, show notifications, toggle your flashlight, or you can set it to open a specific app. And then there's a little button where you can toggle it to respond, like where you have to use a stronger tap. So that way, if you accidentally just lightly tap your phone, it won't activate. So I set mine for stronger taps. I literally have to little, so that way it just doesn't do that action all the time.
And one thing I wanted to also go back to, y'all talking about apps, and it made me click into something. Last Thursday was 14th annual GAD, Global Accessibility Awareness Day, and Google in the Play Store actually had games and stuff that were more accessible. I just don't know if I took a snapshot. I might have. I need to go look for that. But if anybody knew, they actually were advertising games and stuff that are accessible. So, it was a great, refreshing way of seeing that accessibility in that sense is being addressed. So it was GAD, Global Accessibility Awareness Day, on every third Thursday of the month of May every year. And more questions, more thoughts?
Question.
Go ahead.
This is Kevin.
Go ahead.
Just to note for the back tap, unless they have fixed it, and they hadn't fixed it as of last August, but to use the back tap on Samsung phones, you have to install the Smart Lock app, or whatever it's called.
Good luck.
And it's now available in the Play Store, so you don't have to get it only from the Galaxy Store. It's available in both stores now. And once you install Smart Lock, then you can go and assign it.
So Smart Lock belongs under the Good Lock namesake, or is it Smart Lock?
Good Lock, Smart Lock, I don't know what it's called. I think it's something Lock.
Okay, the Samsung one is called Good Lock, but they have like little tools within. So
it's different than the one that they use to control the washers and dryers and stuff. So
Copy.
it's a different lock. So if the one's called Good Lock, then the other one's called Smart Lock.
Copy. Yeah, all these names, man.
This is Janice.
Go ahead.
So when the 15 was pushed out, so when I had 14, in my tile tray, I had 5 badges across and 4 down for a total of 20 on a page, and they were a decent size. But when they pushed out 15, they changed it to 6 badges across and down, so the badges are smaller in the tile tray. So is that no longer available? I've seen, and I called, it's like Google you can't call Google anymore. And so I talked to Samsung, and they helped me dig through, and they just confirmed what I couldn't find. I see in settings where you can do 4 across and 4 down on the home page. My home page is fine. I have it locked. I don't want to change the home page. It's the tile trays behind the home page that I want to make them bigger. Does anybody know about this change?
Thank you for that question. Also on the list, I'll let anybody on the call address that, and if not, I could maybe quickly try to show you as well. So I guess let me quickly just allude to what's happened. When we went to Android 15, on the apps, like you could either have an app button, which that's how I use mine to have app buttons. So you just tap on the app buttons in the docs. Now, it used to be left to right like a book with the pages. So you could have page 1 and you swipe from right to left, page 2, swipe right to left, page 3, etc. Now it's all vertical. So you don't swipe technically, you just go from the top and then you swipe and you're at the bottom. How I set it up was A through Z or A to Z, but I'll let anybody else answer to see if they have any other information or better information than.
So Hershey, mine is still pages. So like if I'm on the home page, I hit the
home pages is still like the pages, but I'm talking about the app drawer or the app
right.
page.
And that's what I'm talking about. The tile.
Okay.
You're calling it app drawer. I'm calling it tile tray. I don't know what it's.
Okay.
But I hit that. Page. Yeah, I hit that. The little grid button at the bottom of my home page, and it takes me over there. And it's separate pages. It's still separate pages. But now the badges on there are smaller. You can put more on there, and I don't want that many on there because it's more difficult to see.
And what is your desire at this point, just to get understanding?
So it's gone from 20 per page, 5 by 4, to 36 per page, and that's too small. And when I go into settings, I see 4 by 4, which is 16, but that's only under home screen.
Okay.
So I still have each page, and that's fine, but it's got too many on each screen in each tile tray.
Okay, makes sense. And then, so just to kind of reiterate, we're one moment there, Foster. But to reiterate, we're talking about the app drawer.
Yes.
And you want 5 by 4 rather than 4 by 4 or 6 by 4 or whatever.
Well, 4 by 4 would probably be okay because it would be bigger, but it's not giving. It's only saying 4 by 4 for the home page and not for the tile tray.
Copy. And go ahead, Foster.
Is this on a? You talking about Samsung?
On a Samsung device. Yep. On the Samsung device.
Okay. Yeah, Samsung's a little different. Right.
So I don't know if they're just not giving me the option now or what. So, I mean, I can just have more pages so that it's easier for me to find one because, and I have the triple tap magnification, but before, it was easier without having to do that.
I could have a look and to see furthermore to at least you're basically looking for bigger icons, and that's what's gone away from the usability experience of this. But I did find it a little squirrely between app screen and home screen and such that. But if you give me a moment soon enough, I will be able to gather more information. At this point, we are coming down to our last couple minutes. So, Miss Amazon Woman, you gonna buy me another Echo Dot or something? And I still haven't seen an Echo anything. Just I gotta send you a Google something first. Just saying, Miss Amazon lady, Miss Ava.
All right, so.
Oh, phew, you scared me. I thought Amazon, Amazon Plus did something to you or something,
No. I know there's a new Echo
all these
out.
assistants, yeah.
Yeah. I know we have a new Echo out, but we will discuss it next month because
When's that call next month, though? I need to put it on the calendar,
Yeah. Well, our next call next month is on June, what was it, 16th? No, sorry, my fault. June 17th, next month. It will be our next meeting. So, don't forget the iBUG movie Friday night.
Hey. And my Android family here, come on now. So, go to iBugtoday.org. It's called a shopping spree. All right. I want one of y'all to win that $500 or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying?
And just so you know, Hershey, if I win it, I am not giving it to you. So
No, I'm not asking back. I just want to somebody from our call. Just saying, because don't leave us Android people out of here too. I mean, so what you will be signing up for is to it's the 500 tech shopping spree. Please do find the information how to sign up for it by going to the website ibugtoday.org, www.ibugtoday.org. And thank you so much.
Yep. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
See y'all next month.
Good night, everyone.
No.
Night.
Night. And we will do what we do. As usual.
Now unmuted. Night, everybody. It was informative.
Thank you.
iBUG.